Welcome back. We're speaking with Angelique McKay, a co-producer of a show that follows her walk to Junkanoo. And it's called Who in the Morning. What else? Hey? But, so you're in Atlanta, right? And you had this big following there. What kind of questions do the people ask about Junkanoo that...
Well, one of the main things people ask is how is it that we're able to commit so much time, energy, and resources to Junkanoo? And the response to that is always the passion, our passion and love for Junkanoo. Because that's not even something that we think twice about. You would hear stories of persons who they would say, oh, they spend their rent money on Junkanoo. And as a non-Junkanoo person...
And that's a reality, yeah.
Yeah, because as a non-Junkanoo person would say, how you could do that? But as a Junkanoo person, it'd be like, Lord, I see how they do that.
And then say, Lord will make a way.
Because the one thing you want to do, you wait all year to be able to participate in Junkanoo. So you will sacrifice anything to get in that road to perform on Bay Street. I mean, you would sacrifice anything. You leave work early, you get up early, you have nightmares about getting leave.
But let me ask you, December 1st, do you just stop working and...
No, you end up being tired. Your energy level increases. I would say the spirit of Junkanoo, the closer it gets to
the adrenaline pumps.
Exactly. So that spirit of Junkanoo keeps you moving. Like, you're able to function with less sleep the closer it gets. But you crash after, because it's like, and then as a Junkanoo person, about a week after the New Year's Day parade, you jonesing for Junkanoo. Like, but for me, like I said, 365 days a year is Junkanoo for me. Wow. Every season is Junkanoo.
Now back to the film, we were saying that after the Bahamas, after UB on the 16th, and it's just the 16th, or is it
Yes,
not?
we're just doing the one, like we would have said earlier too, there are challenges in the creative industry with funding.
Of course, yeah.
So funding prohibits us from being able to schedule more than one date. We're hopeful that we're able to show it again later on in the year based on the success that we envision from this. But after we show on the 16th at UB, we're headed to Washington. The American Film Institute is hosting the production in the United States in Washington, D.C. And after that, in August, the British Film Institute is hosting the showing of the film there. So this film is traveling around the world, highlighting Junkanoo, showing the passion of Junkanoo and the importance of Junkanoo for the Bahamian people, as well as the history, the true history, because in that film there are elements of a hunter in there. The festival that I would have mentioned earlier, the Kundum Festival, there's footage of my performance in that particular festival. Of course, there's footage of me performing on Bay Street.
Well, gotta be.
Right? It also shows some of the things that I would have mentioned, the Sarasi with the ceremonies, and because Christopher, and I have to say this, was initiated into the Ahanta region and named Jan Kwao II.
Wow.
So he's now Junkanoo II, and that stool has been vacant for over 300 years. He's the next person.
Wow.
So the significance of that, and I am his queen mother. So I'm Queen Mother Asafa Churiba of Pokasu and the Ahanta people of Western Ghana. And his title means that he's king of the warriors. And my title is Queen of the Warriors. So we work hand in hand. And one of the things that we've been, issued, one of the duties that we are issued to is to bring the descendants of Ahanta back home, persons within the diaspora, to bring them back home to Ahanta.
I like the word warriors because it makes me think of a fighter fighting for what's good, for what's right, for your own prosperity, for equality, for decency, for peace.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. And the thing is, Jan Kwao the First was a great Ahanta warrior that fought against the enslavement of his people.
Wow.
Right? So one of the things that resonates so well with me is that one of the things we say as Junkanoo when we're getting ready for Bay Street is that it's wartime. So this is something that we said that has been passed down from generation to generation. We did not know at the time that Junkanoo Janquao was a greater hunter warrior, and we say it's wartime. So it's a blood memory, and it's just something that we do. We don't know why. But for me, knowing what I know now, wartime takes on a whole new meaning for me when it's time to go to Bay Street.
Wow. Let's talk about women in Junkanoo. You're seeing more and more women in key roles, but what's it like being a woman in leadership in Junkanoo in 2024?
Well, I'm not a typical woman, so I'll say that. So it's not too challenging for me with me in Junkanoo.
You give as much as you get.
Yeah, my mouth high. But they see me in the trenches. So men know that they're no more Junkanoo than I am. And like I said, I would have come up cutting out my costume, wiring, painting. I color my costume in that I design what the color palette is for my costume. I select the design for my costume as well. I work along with the designers and the builders for my costume. I don't get any resistance in Junkanoo. Persons would think that I would get resistance even with the commandos. For many years, I was the only female in the Junkanoo Commandos until we were in a position to expand, right? And the level of respect that I get from them, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything else. So it's not like, oh, she's a woman, we'll treat her different from a woman. I remember one year, I felt that my being the leader of the Junkanoo Commandos was hindering our growth and progress. So we had a meeting with the executive board, which is all men besides me. And I said, I think I need to step down or be more in the shadows because I feel like it's causing us not to move forward. They voted and unanimously said, if we can't move forward with you in the front, we're not going.
You know, that's a really good sign of leadership, a sign of good leadership, to see and get a more democratic opinion as to whether really it should be you to lead from the front or lead from a different position. But great that they supported you.
They weren't having it.
Yeah. Listen, I got to say something, though. We really want our viewers to see this, because you're wearing the most stunning outfit today. And I want you to tell Bahamians where that's from.
Well, this fabric, I brought this fabric back from Ghana. And my seamstress, whose company is called Jazzy Things, she tailored it. I designed it and she created it. If I scribble something, she's able to make magic from whatever it is that I produce. So this is authentic material from Ghana.
It's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about the orange economy in general, because I think what you're doing could set the tone for a lot of other things. Bahamians are very creative, right? Of course, there are different levels of creativity. But if the world could embrace Junkanoo, right, why can't they embrace other forms of Bahamian music, Bahamian poetry, Bahamian films? And by the way, that's what I meant to ask. Is Who in the Morning you're gonna pitch that to Netflix? Because I could see it on Netflix.
Well, it's something that the directors are really geared towards. One of the things that they're doing right now is we're trying to expose this film to as many film festivals globally as possible.
Well, that could lead to it, right?
To the next. Yes, yes. So that is our goal. The world needs to know about Junkanoo. The world needs to see that Junkanoo is the greatest show on earth. And pound for pound, Bahamians bring it. Mm-hmm. We bring it. And you would have mentioned our music being exported and everything like that. One of the things within the orange economy of the Bahamas that we will do that will bring success to our professionals in this industry is to take it beyond our borders. And there's something in the pipeline along that line right now as we speak.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So we're now in the month of May. Where are you in your Junkanoo preparations for December.
Junkanoo is in full swing. Junkanoo is in full swing. Themes have been selected for a while now. So designs are being produced. It's like, before it would be like June is the kickoff for the Junkanoo season. Now you have April is the kickoff for Junkanoo season, but January 3rd or 4th is the real kickoff for the Junkanoo season in the Bahamas, because you have the design teams that begin working behind the scenes before they bring it to other members of the group.
How do you come to those themes, right? And how do you come with an innovative and even more progressive theme? Because sometimes to me, some of the themes seem like they're sort of like crossing over each other. How do you come up with a more individual and unique, but still Bahamian theme?
Themes get leaked. So that's where you see it looks like, oh, this looks similar to that. Themes get leaked, and then groups feel like they could bring it better than you. So that's when you see that. But the way that it's done is each group would have a design team. So each member of the design team would have a theme they think they could present. So they have to convince their colleagues around that table that their theme is the strongest to be able to produce the most costumes, to be able to tell the story that their theme is going to present. And then we go with it. For me, once I hear what the theme is, I begin to think about what I want to be in the line.
Do you sleep, eat, drink Junkanoo?
Oh, yes. I am Junkanoo, Julian. I am Junkanoo. And that's something, that hashtag we came up with, and it's registered. So just any Tom, Dick, and Harry cannot just use it. But we are Junkanoo. I cannot imagine my life without Junkanoo. I was not able to rush New Year's. I wasn't feeling well. New Year's, the day before, New Year's Eve, I was in the shack putting the finishing touches on my costume, wrapping my rods. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I don't feel well.
Oh boy.
And I said, let me go home so that I could catch myself for tomorrow. And about 2:30 the next day, I sat down in the rocking chair, my mother's rocking chair, and I started to cry.
Because you know you wasn't going
Because
to be
I
there.
knew I couldn't make it. I knew I couldn't make it. And I didn't cry little tears. Like water came down and just thinking about it, it makes me sad all over again. But I still went to Bay Street, but I couldn't put on my costume.
Now you're still sort of setting us up for the future of Junkanoo. You and others, of course, right? But when we talk about young kids in Junkanoo now, what's your advice?
I would say get them in the shop. Right now, my son is taking a break from Junkanoo. He broke my heart when he didn't, because for about 4 years, he rushed side by side with me, and that was the greatest feeling. I mean, I'm sure people just saw me just grinning down Bay Street, but I was just watching him with all this pride. He would get his face airbrushed just like me and his costume done. But for me, I feel like the time is now for us to separate the A and B categories, because more children want to participate in Junkanoo as well. And I don't think it's fair to say, oh, the group is too big, you can't go. Like, how could you tell me I can't go to Bay Street because the group is too big? Like, how do you decide who gets to be on Bay Street? So I think we're at that point, and where we need to separate the A category from the B category and have 2 different parades on 2 different days. It's in a position to boost the economy as well, because the bleachers are already up. You're not going to be charged an additional $1 because people are on the bleacher another day. We don't market Junkanoo to our international visitors at all, even to this day. They buck up on Junkanoo.
Wow.
They buck
But
up
that
on
should be a
Junkanoo.
given. What's going on there?
We know Junkanoo is taking place, but our visitors don't. I remember we had a group. Remember I told you we do artist in residency programs. Some of the persons came down we had them helping in the shop. They're Saxons, they say. They didn't come with me. They walk over the hill and they help the Saxons on their costumes for Bay Street. And after they rushed with the Junkanoo Commandos fun group on Bay Street, they sat in the bleachers and enjoyed the parade.
Yeah, well, that's...
We lose the opportunity to expose Junkanoo to our international visitors by not marketing it, or we as Bahamians, we want to be there, so we're going to get those tickets.
You know, sad
So we
though,
need to expand the
there are
parade.
so many opportunities that we don't take advantage of that are right there for us, but we don't. And it's beyond Junkanoo, but what a pity. But now I got to bring up the age-old question. Bay Street, still got to be the venue, or should it be moved somewhere else?
I love Bay Street. I'm one of those Bay Street people.
I believe it needs to stay there too.
That's why I'm recommending that we separate it. The complaint about Bay Street is because the parades take too long to end, right? And people in the bleachers complain about it.
And then the gaps.
Imagine us.
Yeah.
We're there hours before the parade starts. And while you're sitting in the bleacher watching another group go down, we're in the holding area, chilly if it's a cold night, or just standing up or sitting down on the road. Imagine us. We have it harder as Junkanoos for that parade. But if you have just A categories parade one day, you start that parade at 8. It ends at a reasonable time, 2, 3 o'clock. You're still productive the following day. And more persons are able to attend when you have another parade.
True.
And you're able to bring your children out as well because of the hours, because that's another one of the complaints, that it goes too late into the night.
So at the end of the day, you would say you think we're at a turning point as far as the advancement and evolution of Junkanoo is concerned?
We are, like I said earlier, the ancestors are walking tall and stronger, more strong now than ever. And I'm sure Jan Kwao is leading that charge with everything related to Junkanoo right now, because there's so many things are happening right now relative to Junkanoo. We just need to acknowledge what it is. I've found that a lot of people tend to be embarrassed by Junkanoo because of where it originated and in the inner cities. I see the look on your face, but I'm a Junkanoo and I experience it.
Wow.
I experience
Yeah, but that seems like such an antiquated
but it exists.
attitude, though.
It exists. I've had people ask me flat out, use rush, and the grimace on their face.
And these are younger people?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Older persons. And I'm like, yeah, I am Junkanoo, of course I rush, But there's still a stigma attached to us as Junkanoos, and we still have to defend who we are as Junkanoos, But the thing is, whenever a Bahamian wants to say something like, what the Bahamas, something, it could be like, we have Junkanoo, that could be the first thing. Yeah. The first thing they say, but then they still don't treat us very well all the time.
Before we close out, if there's anything that I did not ask you that needs to be said, please.
Well, one of the things that I want, I know our passion for Junkanoo, and we just need to support the Junkanoos, support the creative arts, support the orange economy, empower our artists. Even if it's just encouraging remarks, that goes a very long way, because the elements of the orange economy make the world a better place.
Sure does.
It makes the world a better place.
Without a doubt.
And we as Bahamians, we are Junkanoo. We are Junkanoo. Even the ones that say they don't like it, they like Junkanoo, but they may not be able to endure as much Junkanoo as we do, because they still watch it.
Yeah,
they complain after they watch it, but they still watch it.
Angelique, listen, thank you for being on the show. Best wishes with everything goes on to you, particularly the viewing here on the 16th of May, and of course when it goes to the AFI and to the BFI.
Yes, and I just want to everybody viewing this to know who in the morning.
Thanks for joining us.